Dear students, today we are going to study about the fundamental unit of life. Have you ever seen the brick wall? Of course. What is the basic building unit of that brick wall? It is brick. So, the basic building unit of brick wall, that is brick. Likewise, the body of living organisms, all the living organisms including plants as well as animals, it is made up of the fundamental unit or the basic building block that is known as cell. So, cell is the fundamental unit of life. Or in other words, we can say that all the living organisms or all the living organism, it is made up of cell. So, cell is the basic unit of life. Cell is the basic unit of, it is the basic unit of life. Cell is the fundamental unit of life, or it is the basic unit of life, or it is the structural as well as the functional unit of life. Cell is the structural as well as the functional unit of life because whole body is made up of cells. As well as it is known as the fundamental unit of life because it regulates all the functions. It regulates all the functions or all the metabolic activities of living organisms. So, the cell means it is the basic fundamental unit of life, or it is the basic unit of life, or it is the smallest unit of life, or it is the structural unit of life, or it is the functional unit of life. And the word cell, it is derived from a Latin word, and the meaning of the word cell, that is little room. And the cell, it is discovered by a scientist, Robert Hooke. So cell is discovered by Robert Hooke, and Robert Hooke coined the term cell, and this cell, it is derived from a Latin word, the word meaning, that is little room. So, we can say that as in case of brick wall, the basic building unit of brick wall, that is brick. Likewise, the basic building unit of all the living organisms, including plants as well as animals, the basic building unit or the fundamental unit of life, that is cell. So, it is derived from a Latin word and its word meaning, that is little room. And it is discovered by a scientist, Robert Hooke. In 1665, he discovered the cell and he coined the term cell. Next, about the discovery of cell. So, the scientist named Robert Hooke in 1665, he discovered or he observed the cells for the first time. And he observed the cells or bark of the tree under the simple microscope, and he observed honeycomb-like structure, like honeycomb-like structure, and he coined the term cell for that honeycomb-like structure, and which resembles like a little room. That is why he given the term cell for that structure. So, this structure or the core, when he observed under the microscope or simple microscope, he observed different types of cells which looks like a honeycomb-like structure, and he coined the term cell for that particular honeycomb-like structure. And the word meaning of this cell, that is little room. 1665, Robert Hooke discovered cell and he coined the term cell. Second, 1674, Antony van Leeuwenhoek, he observed living cell for the first time. Third one, Robert Brown, he discovered nucleus in the cell. Fourth one, Schleiden and Schwann, they formulated cell theory. Later on, Rudolf Virchow, he stated that omnicellula is cellular. The word meaning of omnicellula is cellular means cells arise from pre-existing cells. Cells arise from pre-existing cells. So, Robert Hooke, he discovered the cell, and Antony van Leeuwenhoek, he discovered living cell for the first time, and Robert Brown, he discovered nucleus as well as coined the term nucleus. Then Schleiden and Schwann, they formulated cell theory along with Rudolf Virchow. Because the last statement or the last point of this cell theory, that is formulated by Rudolf Virchow by stating omnicellula is cellular. The word meaning of omnicellula is cellular. That is, cells arise from pre-existing cells. So, Robert Hooke, he discovered as well as he coined the term cell. Then one more scientist, that is Purkinje. So, Purkinje coined the term protoplasm. Protoplasm means it is the all living content of the cell. So, the whole living content, all living content of the cell together termed as protoplasm. Robert Hooke, in his book Biographia, book name Biographia. So Robert Hooke, in his book Biographia, he stated about the cell, about the discovery of the cell as well as the term cell, which means little room. Little room. Antony van Leeuwenhoek studied living cell for the first time with the help of improved microscope. Robert Hooke, when he observed the cork of the tree under simple microscope, he observed dead cells, because cork means it is dead. So he observed dead cells. Then the living cell, that is observed by Antony van Leeuwenhoek for the first time with the help of improved microscope. Then Robert Brown, he discovered as well as named the term nucleus. Then Schleiden, Schwann and Rudolf Virchow, these three scientists, they formulated most important part of this chapter, that is cell theory. The scientist Antony van Leeuwenhoek, he observed the living cells. Antony van Leeuwenhoek, he observed the living cells for the first time, and Robert Brown, he discovered as well as coined the term nucleus. Once again, I will repeat it, the history of self-study. Robert Hooke, in the year 1665, coined the word cell as well as he discovered the cork cells or dead cells for the first time. Second, Robert Brown, in the year 1831, he discovered as well as coined the term nucleus. Third, Theodor Schwann, in the year 1838, he proposed that cells are the unit of biological structure, or cell is the structural unit of life. Then Schleiden, in the year 1815, he proposed that the cells are the fundamental unit of life. Then the last one, Rudolf Virchow, later on in the year 1858, he added one more postulate, that is all cells come from pre-existing cells. Later, Purkinje, he coined the term protoplasm for the living content of the cell. Now, let's consider the cell theory. So, cell theory, it is proposed by three famous scientists, Schleiden, Schwann and Virchow. So, the first point of the cell theory, that is all living things are composed of cells. So, all the living things are composed of cells. So, it is the basic unit of life, or it is the fundamental unit of life. Whether it is plant or animal, both the organisms or all the living organisms, that is composed of cells. Then the second point of cell theory, that is cells are the basic unit of structure and function. So the cells are the basic unit of structure, or it is a structural unit of life. as well as it is the functional unit of living things, because the body of living organism, it is made up of cells. The last point, that is new cells are produced from existing cells, or omnicellula is cellula. The word meaning, that is new cells are produced from existing cell. This point is proposed by Rudolf Virchow. So the first one, all living things are composed of cells, or cell is the basic unit of life. Then second point, cells are the basic unit as well as it is the fundamental unit, or it is the structural unit of life, or it is the functional unit of life. Then these these points which proposed by Schleiden and Schwann, they fail to explain how does the origin of new cells takes place. So both these scientists, Schleiden as well as Schwann, they fail to explain how does the origin of new cells takes place. So that is put forward by scientist Rudolf Virchow. That means the new cells, or the new cells that is produced from pre-existing cells or from already existing cells. So these are the main postulates of cell theory. Once again, all living things are composed of cells. Cell is the basic structural as well as the functional unit of life, as well as the last point, that all the cells that arise from pre-existing cells or from already existing cells. This is an optical instrument. It is microscope. So, microscope, it is an optical instrument. The main function or main use of this microscope, it helps to observe or it helps to examine the microscopic organisms, or mainly the cells. Most of the cells are microscopic in nature. Okay, most of the cells that is microscopic in nature. So, with the help of these improved microscope, with the help of electron microscope, or with the help of light microscope, or with the help of compound microscope, we can observe the microscopic cells. So, the main part of microscope, that is eyepiece. First part, this is the upper part, that is known as eyepiece. Then the second one, that is objective lens. Then this part, it is from the stage of the microscope. And this white color, this part, this is the slide. Then lower part, it consists of a mirror or lamp. Then this wheel-like part, it is known as focus wheel. And the lower base part, that is base of the microscope. And this is the arm of the microscope. Then this eyepiece, it is the uppermost part through which we can observe or we can examine the slide. Slide means, inside this slide, it consists of the specimen. Specimen means that is the particular object, or sometimes it may be a cell or part of the cell or whatever it is. So, the specimen is kept in the stage. Okay, so this is the stage and specimen is kept in the stage, and through this eyepiece we can observe the specimen which is kept in the stage. So, this part forms the objective lenses, and this part, another one more important part, that is to focus the image, or that is to focus the object or focus the specimen. So, we will get, with the help of this mirror which is placed in the lower part. So, with the help of all these parts, we can observe or we can examine the microscopic part or the cells or different part of the cells under the microscope. So, microscope means it is an optical instrument which is mainly meant to observe or mainly meant to examine the microscopic organisms as well as the cell. With the help of this microscope, we can get the enlarged image or magnified image of the microscopic organisms as well as different types of cells. This is the figure which shows the organization in multicellular organisms. So, before that, there are mainly two types of organisms are there based on the number of cells. One is unicellular organism and another one, second one, that is multicellular organism. So unicellular organism as well as multicellular organism. So the word meaning uni means single. Multi means, the word meaning multi means many. So unicellular organism means the organism which are made up of only single cell. For their body, it mainly consists of only one cell or single cell. So it is known as unicellular organism, one-celled organism, single-celled organism, or a cellular organism. So unicellular organism means the organism in which made up of only single cell. Clear? Then the second term, that is multicellular organism. Multi means the word meaning that is many. So the organism which are made up of many cells, not only single cell, it made up of many cells. Okay, so more cells are arranged in a particular pattern and these organisms are named as multicellular organism. So now we are going to discuss about the organization in multicellular organism. So the lowest level or the basic unit of life or basic fundamental unit, that is the cell. So cell means it is the lowest level or it is the basic unit of life. Then the tissue. Tissues means the group of cells. Tissue means it is group of different cells. So the group of different cells arranged in a particular pattern and it forms the tissue. So there are different types of tissues are there. Plant body consists of plant tissue. Animal body consists of animal tissue. So animal tissue means it is a group of animal cells together form animal tissue. In case of plant tissue, group of plant cells, they join together to form plant tissue. Then organs. Organs means group of tissues. Group of tissue or many tissues, they arrange in a particular pattern and forms the organ. The next level, that is the organ system. Organ system means different organs are arranged together. So here different organs are arranged. So different organs are arranged in a particular form and it forms the organ system. Then the last level, that is the organism. Organism means different organ systems are there and by arrangement of these different organ systems together and it forms the complete organism. Maybe it is a plant or maybe it is any animal. So this is the basic organization in case of multicellular organism. So the basic level or the smallest level or the fundamental level or fundamental unit, that is the cell, plant cell or animal cell. Then different cells or group of cells join together to form tissue. Then group of tissue join together to form organs. Then organ system, different organs, it forms organ system. Then different organ systems, they specially transformed or they specially join to form particular organism. Now let's consider cell. Cell means it is the basic unit of life or it is the fundamental unit of life or structural as well as functional unit of life. So let's consider one example. Cell means maybe blood cells. It's an example of cell, blood cells like RBC, WBC, platelets. These are some of the examples of blood cells. Then next level, that is tissue. So group of cells join together to form tissues. So in case of plant tissue as well as in case of animal tissue. So this blood cell means it comes under fluid tissue. So tissue means fluid tissue. So this fluid tissue means it consists of blood, then plasma. So all these together consist of fluid tissue or fluid part or it is termed as fluid tissue. So blood cell, example RBC. RBC is type of blood cell. Then WBC, then platelets. Then next, organs. So what will be the organs related with these blood cell or fluid tissue when we connect with these two? So the organ means what are the organs connected with these two parts? Cell as well as tissue. Then third part, that is the organs. So heart. Heart is the organ which is related with the blood cell or circulation of blood. So heart is an organ. Then blood vessels. Along with heart, blood vessels. Another organ. So heart is there, blood vessels are there like artery, capillary, veins, which are tubular structure or small tubes or small blood vessels which carry blood from one part of the body to another part. Then next level, that is organ system. So we can write here a circulatory system or transport system or the circulatory system. Then organism. In case of humans or in case of animals or human beings. So blood cells, types of cell, RBC, WBC, platelets. So these are some of the examples of cells. So different cells join together to form tissues or fluid tissue. Fluid tissue means it consists of blood, plasma as well as associated part. So it forms the fluid tissue. Then heart, that is the example for organ. Heart as well as blood vessels like artery, vein and capillaries. Then all these organs, okay, like heart, blood vessels like artery, vein, capillary, all these together form or connected to form the organ system. Organ system means like circulatory system. Then the circulatory system, not only this organ system, many other organ systems are there. Circulatory system is there. Then another example, that is digestive system. Then respiratory system. Then respiratory system. Likewise, all these organ systems together forms the entire organism. Example, in case of human beings, our body, it consists of blood cells like RBC, WBC, platelets, then fluid tissue like blood, plasma, lymph, then heart as well as its associated part that forms the organ, then the organ system like circulatory system, in case of digestive system, part of the digestive system like oral cavity or mouth cavity, then another organ esophagus, then stomach, that is the another organ, small intestine, large intestine. Clear? So likewise, all these organs together form organ system. That organ system means digestive system. In case of respiratory system, external nostrils, clear? Then trachea, then bronchus, bronchioles, lungs. All these parts together forms the organ system that is known as respiratory system. Clear? Then respiratory system, kidneys and its associated part. So that forms respiratory system. Reproductive system, part of the reproductive system. So it forms particular organ system that is known as reproductive system. So all these organ systems like circulatory system, digestive system, respiratory system, as well as reproductive system, nervous system. So all these systems together forms the entire organism. So this is an example of organization in case of multicellular organism, or this chart or this figure, it shows the organization from cell to entire organism. Now let's discuss about diversity in case of size of the organism. Look at the figure, there are different animals are shown in this figure. So what about their size? Some are having very small size in case of bacteria. Okay, in case of this is small figure, this figure which shows the figure of bacteria, and the second one, the smaller one, that is frog. Clear? So smaller organisms are there as well as large sized bodied organisms also there. So, is there any relationship between the size of the organism as well as the size of the cell? Look at the figure. Some organisms are very smaller in size, and some organisms like elephant as well as whale, they are larger bodied organisms. So, what about the size of the cell as well as the size of the organism? Here, there is no relationship between the size of the organism as well as the size of the cell. No relationship. Okay, so there is no relationship between the size of the organism. Okay, between the size of the organism as well as the cell. No relationship. Clear? So, the size of the organism as well as the size of the cell, there is no relationship between the size of the organism as well as the size of the cell. Don't think that elephant is having large sized body and the cells of this elephant that is larger than the cells of the body of the frog. Don't think like that. It is totally wrong. There is no such kind of relationship between the size of the organism as well as the size of the cell, especially in case of multicellular organism, because their body it is made up of many cells. But what about in case of lower level organism or unicellular organism? Unicellular organism, their body is made up of only one cell or body made up of single cell. So, in this case, in case of single cellular organism or in case of unicellular organism, since their body it is made up of only single cell, only one cell is there. So, if that single cell, suppose in case of amoeba, if their body consists of only single cell. So, if the single cell is having large size or bigger the size, then the organism's body that also have bigger size. So, in case of unicellular organism, they have a relationship between the size of the organism as well as the size of the cell. If the cell is very small, then that organism that also very smaller in size, because its body consists of only single cell. But in case of multicellular organism like a frog, or in case of dog, or in case of elephant, or in case of whale, their body consists of many types of cell or many cells are joined. So, there is no relationship between the size of the organism as well as the size of the cell. But in case of unicellular or single cellular organism, since their body made up of only single cell, if that single cell is larger in size, then the body of organism that also larger in size. If the cell is very smaller in size, then the organism or that unicellular organism, their body also very small in size. Some of the examples of unicellular organism, that is like amoeba, paramecium, euglena, bacteria and all, their body made up of only single cell. Especially in case of all other organism, it is multicellular. Then in case of bacteria, they are unicellular as well as prokaryotic organism. Okay, unicellular as well as prokaryotic organism. Later we will detail about prokaryote as well as eukaryotes. Now let's discuss about shape and size of the cells. The shape as well as the size of the cell, it will vary or it will be different from each organism according to the specific function performed by them. So, let's consider one example in case of amoeba as well as WBC. Amoeba as well as WBC. Both do not have any proper shape. Both having irregular shape. Their body having amoeba, their body having irregular shape as well as the blood cell WBC or white blood cell. So, white blood cell, they also do not have any proper shape. Their body also always undergo changes. So, that is why both these termed as irregular. So, both are having irregular shaped body. Why? Because according to the specific function performed by the body of amoeba, amoeba means it is a single cellular organism or unicellular organism. So, single celled organism or unicellular organism. So, its body consists of only single cell, and with the help of that single cell, it have to carry out all the processes of its body or all the life processes of its body, like nutrition, the process of nutrition. So, amoeba have to obtain the food with the help of that single cell body. Then after the intake of the food material, further digestion process as well as absorption, assimilation, excretion process, all these processes that carry out with the help of the single cell itself. So according to their body needs, always they have a tendency to change their shape of the body. That is why it is termed as irregular shape. In case of WBC or white blood cell, its main function is to fight against diseases. It fight against diseases. So it helps to protect our body from microorganisms as well as from other diseases. So one of the main function of WBC, it also helps to engulfing, or it helps to engulf the microorganism or foreign bodies when it enters into our body. So that engulfing process, that engulfing process by this WBC, as well as the engulfing of food material or food particle by the body of this amoeba with the help of particular organ or finger-like projection, that is known as pseudopodia. With the help of pseudopodia, that finger-like projection from amoeba's body, that is known as pseudopodia. So with the help of this pseudopodia, amoeba will engulf the food particle. Clear? Likewise, WBC also engulf the foreign particle or the microorganism when it enters in the body. Likewise, it helps to fight against diseases. So both these always change their shape according to the specific function that carried in our bodies. So in case of amoeba, single-celled organism, they have irregular shape according to their specific function. So with the help of the single cell, they can carry out all the functions like nutrition, absorption, then excretion. So all these functions it carry out with the help of the single cell. Then in case of WBC, white blood cell, it engulfs or phagocytosis, that particular process is known as phagocytosis. In higher class, you will study it very detailed. So a process known as phagocytosis. That means the engulfing of foreign material by WBC. So that is a specific function performed by WBC. So according to this WBC also have irregular shaped body. That is why both these do not have any proper shape. So it is totally related with its specific function. Clear? Then next, the smallest cell, the smallest known cell, that is PPLO, or another term that is mycoplasma. PPLO means pleuropneumonia-like organisms. Pleuropneumonia-like organisms. Another name that is mycoplasma, that is the smallest cell. Then the largest cell or large sized cell, that is ostrich egg or egg of ostrich, that is the largest cell. Then the longest cell, lengthwise, the longest animal cell, that is the nerve cell. Clear? So the nerve cell, it is longest animal cell. Then a micrometer means, or micron or micrometer means, it is 1/1000th of a millimeter. So this is the unit. So once again I will repeat it. Amoeba as well as WBC, they have irregular shape because according to its specific function. Then smallest cell, that is mycoplasma or PPLO or pleuropneumonia-like organism. Largest cell, that is ostrich cell. The longest cell, that is nerve cell. Then look at the figure. So this is the figure which shows RBC, red blood cell or RBC. So the RBC or this cell, it is disc shaped. Disc shaped RBC. So its main function of RBC means it helps to carry oxygen all over our body. Oxygen as well as the transportation of oxygen as well as nutrition from one part of our body to another part of our body. So its body size or its RBC, its shape is disc shaped, discoidal shape or discoid shape or disc shaped RBC. Then muscle cell, its shape is, this is muscle cell and its shape is spindle shaped. So, spindle-shaped muscle cell. Muscle cell means its main function. What is the main function of muscle cell? It helps in the movement of body part. So, by the contraction as well as the simultaneous relaxation. So, the contraction as well as the relaxation of muscle cell, it helps in movement of our body. So, its particular shape, spindle-shaped body or spindle shape, that particular shape, it helps the muscle cells to carry out its function properly. Then the nerve cell, it is branched shape. So, the nerve cell, it is branched shape. Branched shape nerve cell. So, here elongated part is there, axon is here. So, the branched shape of nerve cell. The main function of this nerve cell, it is a part of nervous system. So, it helps in the transmission of nerve impulse or message from one part of our body to another part. So, for this transmission of nerve impulse or for transmission of this message, these nerve cells have branched shape. So, more branches are here. So, through these branches are known as dendrites. Dendrites. The lower level organisms like diatom, which is star-shaped organism, diatom having star-shaped body, as well as Paramecium unicellular lower level organism. Its body shape, it looks like a slipper-shaped body. Clear? So, this Paramecium, all over its body surface, it has small cilia. So, with the help of this propulsion of the cilia, they can move from one place to another place. So, depending upon the body function, each organism have or each part of the cell, it have different size as well as different shape. Once again, RBC or red blood cell, its shape is disc shaped or discoid shape. Main function is to carry oxygen as well as nutrients. Then muscle cells, spindle shaped muscle cells for locomotion. Then branched cell, that is nerve cell, for the transmission of impulse or transmission of message from one place to another place. Then the stomata or the guard cells of stomata, which helps in the opening as well as the closing of stomata. Further, it helps in the exchange of gas as well as the process of transpiration. Then diatom as well as Paramecium. Diatom is having star-shaped body as well as Paramecium lower level. They have slipper-shaped body. So, all these are particular functions or depend upon particular function performed by different cells. They have its own shape as well as different shape or different size. Now let's consider the main differences between unicellular organism as well as multicellular organism. The unicellular organism means its body made up of single cell or only one cell. In case of multicellular organism, their body made up of many cells. So, in case of unicellular organism like amoeba, Paramecium, Euglena and all, with the help of that single cell, their body is able to perform all other life processes like nutrition, excretion, circulation. All these processes are carried out by the help of the single cell itself. That is why they are able to perform all the life processes like nutrition, that means obtaining of food, then the process of respiration, then excretion process, growth as well as the reproduction process. So all these life process that is carried with the help of the single cell itself. But in case of multicellular organism, all the cells have a similar basic structure as well as similar basic life activities. Then in case of unicellular organism, they are known as acellular organism because their body it cannot divided into different cells because it consists of only single cell. So the another name of these unicellular organism or single celled organism, that is acellular organism. Then in case of multicellular organism, different cells are there. So these different cells join together to form tissue. Tissues join together to form organ. Organ together form organ system. And organ system, different organ systems associated to form the entire organism. So the different shapes and aggregated to form the different tissues. Then these tissues form organs and organs give rise to organ system, and this organ system it carry out or it performs special functions. Example, in case of plants, animals, as well as in case of fungus. So these all termed as multicellular organisms. So in case of multicellular organism, there is division of labor. Division of labor among the cell, that is present in case of multicellular organism. Whereas in case of unicellular organism, there is no division of labor among the cells, since their body consists of only single cell. In case of amoeba as well as in case of paramecium, in case of euglena, only single cell is present in their body, and that single cell have to carry out all the life process. Whereas in case of multicellular organism, there is division of labor among the cells. So each cell or each tissue or each organ or organ system, it consists of or it is specialized to perform all the bodily functions. So multicellular organism, they shows division of labor.